Alright YouTube, want to do a video today talking about these three machines right here. We got the Minelab Equinox, we got the Excalibur, Minelab Excalibur, and then we got the Minelab CTX 3030. And what I wanted to discuss was these machines, they all have their pros and cons, and want to talk about how well each one does on the beach, in the water, and out of the water. And the first things first, this is some of the finds, not all of them, but some of the finds from last year with these three machines. This is basically just all the junk stuff that I've found with these machines. But anyway, that's just to let you know that I do hunt quite a bit and do find a lot of stuff. But the the advantages and disadvantages of each one of the machines. One thing I'll tell you, the Excalibur, I've been using it now since 2006, and so I'm fairly knowledgeable about how to use the Excalibur. The CTX, I got it just a couple of years ago, although I've been able to use it and really appreciate that machine. And then I got the Equinox last year, and that's the Equinox 600. Got it last year, and you know, it's definitely got its pros. But one thing I wanted to talk about was water hunting, and when it comes to the which one to me is going to be the best for hunting in the water, it's hands down, no contest whatsoever, is the Excalibur. We're talking about technology from the 90s, maybe even before that. And to me, it still is better than anything that Minelab has come out with as of yet. The CTX, to me, on land, is superior to the Excalibur. It's very fast on the recovery speed, and it can pick up really small items, very small. Equinox, same deal. It can pick up really small items, and the recovery speed is even faster than the CTX 3030. So if you got two objects that are sitting in the ground right next to each other, you got one that's iron, one that's gold, and you need target separation. Maybe your beach is really dirty, got a lot of iron on it. Mine does. Then the Equinox is, if you're going to be just a land hunter, that's probably the way to go. If you're one to get in the water, you probably want to stick with the Excalibur. To me, of these three machines, the worst one that's in the water, surprisingly, is the CTX 3030. I really like this machine on land. It is great on land. I much prefer it than I do the Equinox. It goes really deep. Whenever you get a target and you have a target ID comes up, you can pretty much rest assured whatever that display says it is, that's what it is. And it's not going to change at all. The Equinox, it bounces all around. It'll go from, I've had a gold ring that bounced, or several gold rings that bounced from 0 up to 14, and it never could be satisfied with what it was. The Excalibur, whenever you run over a gold ring, you know that tone. Boy, that thing sounds great. You pretty much rest assured that it's either going to be either a pull tab or it's going to be a gold ring. And the CTX, whenever it tells you something's going to be a dime or something's going to be a quarter, that's what it's going to be, no doubt. But the CTX in the water, it does all right. It's not bad. I mean, if I were using, if I had the CTX and that's all I had, then I would use it in the water. I know some people were complaining about the seals leaking on it. I've never had that problem. Mine was a later version. Maybe they got that all taken care of. But anyway, I haven't had any issues with it leaking or anything. It's so far, knock on wood, it's worked great in the water. My main complaint about the CTX in the water is the pinpointing. When you press that pinpoint trigger button behind it right there, which is very convenient. Let me tell you, much better than the Excalibur with trying to switch the button on it, the switch on it. But the problem is I've had many times when I've been out there in the water and get a signal and go to use the pinpoint feature, and basically the target just disappears with pinpoint. If any of you know about the Excalibur, in pinpoint mode, it actually, to me and to a lot of people, goes deeper on pinpoint than it does on discriminate. And a lot of guys, they will actually use the machine in pinpoint mode while they're out there in the water because they don't want to miss any signals. And I've done that myself, and it works pretty good. Uh, so to me, the CTX in the water using pinpoint mode, forget it. If, and if you don't hear it in normal discriminate mode, then you're probably going to miss it altogether in pinpoint. So for that reason, I would say the CTX is really not that great in the water. It's okay, but it's not great. I really feel like I'm missing deeper signals. I really haven't dug up really deep signals in the water. However, on land, I swear this thing goes much deeper than the Excalibur on land. And the recovery speed is much better than the Excalibur. So if you got a trashy beach that you're hunting, CTX to me is great. The Equinox, like I say, with the target separation, is just phenomenal. It is much better than either one of the other two. Well, I say much better. I would say I would give the edge to the Equinox over the CTX, and certainly much better than the Excalibur. But as far as uh, hunting in the water, I really don't feel like I'm getting deep signals at all. Most of the things that I'm digging up is one, maybe two scoops down. The Excalibur, I mean, I really don't see much of a difference in hunting on land versus hunting on the water. I mean, I dig up dimes, 15, 16 inches down on land. I dig them up 15, 16 inches down in the water. So it really, the water doesn't even seem to phase the Excalibur at all. And the other thing is the coil on the Excalibur. If you're thinking about, maybe you're not familiar with either any of these machines, the Excalibur, the coil on the Excalibur is much heavier than it is on the Equinox. The Equinox, you could probably swing that thing all day long and never really feel it on land. But the Excalibur, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna know that you're swinging a heavy coil there. So anyway, if you're wondering which one of these machines to get, if you're on land, wanting to spend budget is out there, you can afford it. Honestly, I would say go with the CTX 3030. But if you're planning on being in the water, by all means go with the Excalibur. However, if you're on a limited budget and you only want to have one machine that can do land and water, then I would say go with the Equinox. Especially if your beach is trashy, if there's a lot of iron on the beach, then really the Equinox is a solid machine. I just don't feel like it goes as deep to me as what the Excalibur and the CTX do. So I have had people tell me they have found gold chains with the Equinox. I have not found one yet. Chains, I really don't find that many of them unless they're attached to a pendant anyway. But I've had people tell me that they have found chains with the Equinox. So if that's the case, I'm not going to sell the Equinox yet. I'm still going to be using it. But if I find a chain with it, I will be the first to update you and let you know about it. Because that's really the only reason why I bought the machine, was to be able to find chains at the beach, because I know there's a ton of them out there, and I know the Equinox will air test a chain, especially in Park 2 mode. If you're not a beach hunter, then certainly hunt in Park 2 because it will definitely spot a chain in Park 2. Um, I've air tested the Excalibur and the CTX 3030 with chains. They don't see them. If there's not a pennant attached to it, then you can forget about finding a chain with it. But the Equinox, it does pick up on change, and I've seen I think it's on YouTube detector comparisons. He did a video showing where he buried a chain at the beach in the water, and it was like about 2 inches down, and the Equinox was able to see it. I believe he was hunting in Beach 1. So it will spot a chain. It's not going to go real deep, but hey, if there's somebody lost a chain and it's only a couple inches down, 3 inches down, there's a possibility it might pick it up. And I know there's probably thousands of chains out there in the water and on the beaches. So if that's what you're after, then definitely go with the Equinox. But my opinion is if you're hunting and you're wanting to find gold rings, Excalibur is still the way to go. All right. Well, I appreciate you watching.